Jason from FX Empire and welcome to the daily crypto tech review of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin and Ripple's XRP. Looking at the MACDs, the moving averages, today's support, resistance and pivot levels and the Fibonacci's. It is Wednesday the 24th of March. Demonstrating to Bitcoin against US dollar, it's bearish start to the day here. Going to see Bitcoin move back through the pivot at 54,324 to take a run at the first major resistance level sitting at 55,835. We'll need support from the broader market for Bitcoin to break out from yesterday's high, those at 55,822.3. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and resistance at 56,000 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Bitcoin test resistance at 58,000 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 57,334. Ready to move through the pivot, we'll bring the first major support level at 52,825 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Bitcoin should stay close sub 50,000. Second major support level at 51,313 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACD, we've got a bearish cross this morning, supporting this early morning pullback. On the EMAs, the 50 is also pulling back from the 100 and the 200, which is also a bearish indicator. So failure to move back through the pivot at 54,324 would leave support levels in play. A move back through to 55s and yesterday's high, and expect Bitcoin to take a run at 58,000 levels. Moving across to Ethereum against US dollar, also bearish this morning. Going to need to see Ethereum move through the pivot at 1681 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 1711. Going to need to see support from the broader market for Ethereum to break back through to 1700. So barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 1723.61 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, could see Ethereum test resistance at 1800 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 1753. Failure to move through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 1639 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ethereum should stay clear of the 23.6% fib at 1579. Second major support level at 1610 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACD, we've got a widening of the bearish histograms after yesterday's late bearish cross, supporting this morning pullback. On the EMAs, the 50s also pulled back further from the 100 and the 200, also a bearish indicator. So keep through the early part of the day, move through the pivot at 1681 and back through to 1700 to bring resistance levels into play. Failures to do that and support levels are in play. Moving across to Litecoin against the US dollar, also bearish. Going to see Litecoin move through the pivot at 185 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 190. Going to need to support from the broader market for Litecoin to break back through to 190 levels. Barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 189.51 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, should see Litecoin test resistance at the 23.6% fib at 195. Second major resistance level sits at 194. Failure to move back through the pivot would bring the first major support level at 181 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Litecoin should stay clear of the second major support level at 177. Looking at the MACD, got a narrowing of the bullish histogram and we could see a possible bearish cross. Keep an eye on that through the morning. On the EMA, the 50s pulled further back from the 100 and the 200, which is a bearish indicator. So keep through the early part of the day, move back through the pivot at 185 to then target 190s. Failure to do that and support levels are in play. Looking at Ripple's XRP against US dollar, also bearish. Going to need to see Ripple's XRP move through the pivot at 0.5613 to take a run at the first major resistance level at 0.5843. Going to need to see support from the broader market, however, for Ripple's XRP to break back through to 0.58 levels. Barring an extended rally on the day, expect that first major resistance level and yesterday's high at 0.59595 to cap any upside. In the event of an extended rally, could see Ripple's XRP test resistance at 0.63 before any pullback. Second major resistance level sits at 0.6189. Failure to move through the pivot will bring the 23.6% fib at 0.5320 and the first major support level at 0.5266 into play. Barring an extended sell-off on the day, Ripple's XRP should avoid sub 0.50 levels. Second major support level at 0.5036 should limit the downside. Looking at the MACD, you've got a widening of the bearish histogram this morning, supporting this morning's pullback. On the EMA, the 50 has narrowed marginally on the 100 and the 200, also supporting the early fall So key through the early part of the day, move through the pivot point 5613 and back through to 0.58 levels to bring resistance levels into play. Failures to do that and support levels are in play.